Hello to all of you moms out there. This is episode 12 of the Solve for Mom podcast. I'm your host, Anoki Kapasi. Welcome to the first episode of my new holiday series. In the next couple of episodes, I'm going to be interspersing episodes that are focused just on issues that arise during the holidays. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that pops up repeatedly in our mom lives. It's about maintaining our personal growth habits during those times where we seem to lose our daily rhythm and all of our routines. I'm talking, of course, about the hustle of the holidays. Let's face it, the holidays are chaotic. We're running around, buying gifts, getting our homes ready for our guests, dealing with cooking and baking sessions, cramming these between drives to the grocery store. It's really easy to let our daily habits slip. But the hard reality is that habits are even more essential during the busiest times of the year. So I'm going to share 6 mom-centered strategies that can be addressed in 15 minutes or less. These are practical strategies to keep your personal growth on track even when you're knee-deep in wrapping paper. So let's bring on the holiday cheer with confidence. Welcome to the Solve for Mom podcast. Do you love spending family time together every day but realize that your own interests have fallen to the wayside? Do you have a long list of things you wish to learn but you're so tired from trying to balance it all on your own and frustrated from not planning ahead to make it happen? Have you been mom for so long that you've lost track of who you are as an individual? Hi, I'm Anoki. I'm a PhD biomedical researcher, homeschooling mom, and life coach. I too poured myself into being a mom and thought I had to stop doing the things that I love to do. I was struggling to make time for myself, had lost my sense of direction, and kept second-guessing myself. I wanted to take back control of my purpose and passions, but I kept telling myself there'll be plenty of time for that later. Until I did what was natural to me. Using the methods of a scientist, I created plans to prioritize my values, organize my time, and take action towards my goals. If you're ready to go questing for your purpose, level up your learning, and confidently pursue your passions while still being the awesome mama that you are, you're in the right place. In this complex equation we call life, it's time to sharpen our pencils and our minds and solve for mom. In case you haven't heard, I have a free weekly newsletter where you can get to know me a bit more. I share more stories, sometimes very raw moments from my life. I want to show you how my personal growth journey and my passion projects have been going and how I've been applying all the things that we talk about in this podcast. I also include links to the week's podcast and quick tips to help you with your self-discovery. So come on in and become a Solve for Mom Insider. Just scroll to the bottom of today's show notes and click on the newsletter link. And you know me, I always have projects in the works. So by signing up, you're going to be the first to know everything that's going on with the Solve for Mom brand. During my days in the laboratory, my experiments involved biological systems, right? So cell lines and bacterial cultures. So doing experiments in those types of living and actively growing systems. But the thing is, they're not following my weekly calendar. They're following a biological timeline, the circadian rhythm, and cellular scheduling. So I can't just start a project and then hit pause on my experiments just because the weekend is coming or there's a special occasion or if I want to travel. They still needed my time and attention no matter what was going on in my life, and I needed to be available to record observations and follow the experimental protocols in order to make valid conclusions. The same goes for us. Our habits and our routines are a big part of our daily living and who we are, but there are opportunities for them to get disrupted. On one hand, some routines are just going to stick, no matter whether it's the holidays or not. Like, we're going to take our vitamins or our prescribed medications, right? We know that that's something we should do to be responsible and to take care of ourselves. We do things like our daily showers and brushing our teeth and general self-care. That is just something that we don't even think about. But what makes those habits easy to keep? The reason is that they are good habits that we've set for ourselves at a very young age. If you've been doing them every day, they should be bust-proof. Horace Mann said, "I am what I am today because of the choices I made yesterday." Habits are like a cable. We weave a strand of it today, and soon it cannot be broken. What I take from that is that the more we do a habit, the stronger it gets. Okay, so that doesn't get around the fact that sometimes it really is hard to keep our habits, like during the holidays. Well, as I mentioned earlier, habits are actually even more important during the times that our schedules are changing. We specifically form habits for those times of inconsistency and unpredictability. In fact, I think this is where habits shine. When things are in flux and you're still able to keep up with your health and fitness routines, for example, or self-care habits, maybe practicing a skill of yours. Sometimes we think of habits as some basic thing that we want to build into our lives, and that's definitely true, like certain self-care habits. But habits can also be things that involve discipline, like practicing a skill that you're learning. So today I'm going to lean on a totally hypothetical example. Perhaps you recently picked back up playing an instrument, say the cello, and you find it very gratifying, and then the holidays come around. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pause it? Are you going to wait for the messy holidays to pass and then get back at it? Or maybe if you've been disciplined about it, you've established a routine. Is it possible for you to keep up with this regular habit of developing this skill? So it might help to take some notes and circle the suggestions that seem to resonate with you. One thing I wanted to point out from the get-go is to remember that habit disruptions can come in many forms. Like sometimes it feels that we're always in a period of transition. Perhaps a child is going through sleep regression and then that affects our ability to rest. Or you have a hectic after-school schedule that's disrupting our home-based family time. I'm focused on the holidays right now just because they're coming up, but these strategies are actually useful for other times of disruption as well. Just so we're on the same page, when I refer to habits, I mean any actions that we take in a sort of ritualistic way. Habits are a core part of our daily behavior, but they can also be a part of things like learning and building skills and our personal development. At first, when we're starting to establish a habit, they're these conscious decisions that we're making towards a goal. But eventually, with enough repetition, they can actually become slightly automatic. Just like when we're driving. I remember when I first started off driving, every single decision in the car took concentration. I was a little tense sometimes. I was engaging in conscious decision making. But over the years, with experience, I know I can operate a car responsibly, yet it just doesn't take up as much mental energy as it used to. Now, for any of you skeptics out there who's like, so what? It's the holidays. Anything goes. Let's just let our habits go to the wayside for a while. The reason I think that we should consider maintaining our most important habits is because, for one, maintaining our habits can keep us grounded amidst all of the chaos of the holidays. This is something that we have control over and can be consistent about. When everything around us is changing, I feel like I can still count on this one thing. You will feel more like yourself when you keep your habits. Also, as I pointed out in my story about experiments, our personal growth doesn't take a holiday, so neither should we. And habits are an important part of developing our self-growth. And then finally, we are setting an example for our families about the importance of our habits and our self-care. I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but our kids are watching us all the time. They are watching us when we keep our habits, but they're also watching us when we break our habits. So you have to decide what kind of lesson you want to teach them. Okay, now it's time to get tactical. The first strategy is bundling. You've already heard me talk about this before, and specifically skills bundling. So I'll link the episode to the show notes. Bundling is basically a 2-for-1. It's when you piggyback one task with another. So using our cello example, you develop this good habit of practicing and you're showing up consistently for daily practice and learning. Skills bundling during the holidays could look something like this. Practice while you have holiday cookies in the oven. Maybe you're listening to cello music while you're wrapping gifts. Envisioning is a really powerful tool as well. You could envision playing the piece perfectly while you're waiting in line during holiday shopping trips. Another popular strategy is habit stacking. This is when you attach a new habit to an existing habit. And the reason is that it's easier to maintain a habit when you've linked it to something that you're already doing. And the thing is that if you've already done the head work for habit stacking, doing something that happens daily, for example, then when the holidays come around, it's unlikely to change your habit that you formed. So for example, let's say you typically lay out your sheet music next to your coffee maker, and that's already your habit to review the music while the coffee is brewing or while you're sipping on your coffee. Well then, when the holidays come around, you could still keep doing that and it's going to keep getting done. The third strategy is to have a non-negotiable 15. Sometimes we're working on forming multiple habits in different areas of our life at the same time, right? And that's difficult even on a normal day, especially if you're relatively new and you're trying to establish these habits. So the expectation to maintain those during the holidays is pretty tough. Instead, pick your most important non-negotiable habit. So usually this is something that's kind of crucial to your well-being, but it could also be something like a skill that you don't want sliding, like cello practice. What you would do is to carve out 15 minutes a day to that one habit, even during the holidays. And the reason this is a great one is because 15 minutes for one thing seems pretty reasonable. It seems doable. I think you'll feel empowered to know that you're going to try a habit for 15 minutes. It's a small enough commitment that you're likely to stick to it, and you might even be glad to turn your attention away from the holiday chaos and back to something that kind of helps you feel normal, like you. And my pro tip is to let your family know what your non-negotiable 15 is before the holidays. That way, they aren't surprised when you decide to take those 15 minutes to do your thing. They could even help you stay accountable. The fourth strategy is to involve your family. So, as I just mentioned, your family can help you stay accountable during the holidays. But they can also participate. Going back to the cello example, perhaps your family could ask you to play it after family dinners. And have fun with it. Maybe you could turn it into this really cool family time entertainment or talent show with visiting guests. This is such a wonderful way to create quality time with your family while helping you keep your habits. The fifth one is very easy, but also one of the most important. It's to keep a solid morning routine. Now, one of the things that makes me feel normal every day is being able to have a nice morning routine. On the days that I wake up late and I'm in a rush to get out the door, or I need to start my day without my normal morning routine for whatever reason, I just feel off for the rest of the day. And it really sets the tone for me for that day. So before the holidays start, 1, make sure that you have a consistent morning routine. But then when the holidays do come around, you can use that same routine. Or if you need to, you can do a slightly condensed version. Doing this is going to help you start your day off right and help you feel a bit more like you, even if the rest of the day follows a totally different rhythm. And the last strategy I'm going to share with you today is to track your habits. When you're establishing habits, especially as an effort towards your goals, then habit tracking is a good idea because regular check-ins can help you assess your progress towards your goals and help you determine how consistent you've been with your habits. Now, there's a lot of ways to track, but you could simply just use a check mark and an X in your planner as an easy method. Since the holidays are so disruptive to your habits, keeping up with habit tracking actually motivates you and will keep it in front of mind. And there you have it. Those are the 6 strategies that can holiday-proof your habits. So to recap there, 1, bundling, 2, habit stacking, 3, involving your family, 4, having a non-negotiable habit that you spend 15 minutes on daily, 5, keep your morning routine, and 6, habit tracking. I have used all of these habits, but which ones I use each holiday season will differ based on the habit or habits that I'm actively working to maintain. So for example, my strategies for adopting healthy eating habits during the holidays will look different from what I would do to consistently practice yoga during the holidays. And remember, mamas, maintaining your habits during the holidays isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it's challenging. For example, setting a 15-minute non-negotiable is important, but say you only did 5 minutes during the holidays. Well, that's better than nothing, right? So give yourself a little bit of grace that way. So if you're ready to take action on this, my suggestion is to first establish your morning routine. That alone will do wonders for you over the holidays. And then if you're all set on that, then I would like to see you select one non-negotiable 15. From there, I would pick one go-to approach to keep up with that non-negotiable. So will you bundle, habit stack, or do it with your family? I would pick one just to keep it simple this time. But if you're feeling fancy, then go ahead and take 1 minute at the end of each day to track whether you did the habit or not. Like I said, a quick check mark or X is all you need. And if you don't have a planner, then for now, just use your phone's notepad or something where you can easily refer back to it. By using these strategies, you're not just preserving your habits, you're setting a powerful example for your family about the importance of self-care and your personal growth. The holidays are about fun and cheer and celebration and gratitude and love. Yes, for our families, but also for ourselves. So, in that spirit, I want to thank you guys for being here today with me. And don't forget, sign up for my new weekly SFM for Mom Insiders newsletter, where you're going to get personal growth tips, resources, and exclusive offers. You'll find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next week. I hope today's episode will help you create time and freedom to pursue something you love to do. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe and tell other ambitious mamas about it. Who knows, you might even make a new friend by sharing a tip. It's all free. By the way, it would be amazing to hear what you think about the show when you leave a review. After all, my passion is to make this a great experience for you. Thank you for making my show a part of your day. I'll see you next week for another episode of the SFM for Mom podcast with Anoki Kapasi.